Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 / October / spooky episode.
Alright, that's a cut.
Well, that was good.
Yeah, that was incredible. That was a real high quality intro.
The first podcast is also coming out this month.
Okay, yeah, the first podcast is late, but hopefully this one will be on time, and hopefully others forward will be going on time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And obviously, since the first episode hasn't been released at the time of this recording, we can't have changed much from feedback.
It's quite a poor idea. We probably should have waited until the first one had gone
It's
out.
a bit too late now.
Yeah.
But if we waited, then we'd be late for Halloween, and I definitely don't want that.
Yeah, that's true.
With that being said, should we get the non-Halloween stuff out of the way first?
Yeah, should we talk about what games we've been playing this month?
I think we should.
This month I've been slowly going through Paper Mario again. I'm now over halfway through. I only spend 1 hour a day because it's quite long. And the other game I've been playing, which I'm also halfway through now, is Resident Evil 0, which we should get onto later. I'll talk about it then.
I played Untitled Goose Game. I quite like that. That was a fun little indie game. It wasn't too long. You get a lot of enjoyment for what's there. It's a fun little open world game. Outside of that, I've been playing Super Mario 35.
Oh yeah.
How is that?
Have you guys not played it at all?
No.
I played 1 or 2 around, but I'm not into it.
Oh, well, I like the classic Super Mario Brothers, and yeah, they just made it competitive. It's a fairly simple concept, but it can get tricky at times.
What about Crash 4?
Crash 4 I played a little bit of, but my experience was kind of soured by technical problems, put it that way.
It's kind of what happens when you're running it on an external hard drive.
Yeah, I think it was external was the problem, but then it still had issues when I moved it to internal every so often. I just get loads of tech problems this generation.
This generation.
I'm trying to think what other games I've been playing. I've just been playing more Animal Crossing a lot as well, with Halloween themed stuff going on. So you got to buy sweets every day, or candies as they call them, and get Halloween related DIY recipes, which I'm trying to get all of.
I'm still in a major burnout of Animal Crossing. I think I need to pick it up by the end of this year when Christmas comes around, and when the Mario themed stuff hits in March next year.
When the Mario hits the Animal Crossing just right. Cut that out. Filthy meme.
Because I knew we were doing a Halloween thing, I played some horror games. Because I was like, oh yeah, I'll play some stuff ready, prepared.
Yeah.
I wrote down a list of everything I played. I just needed to find it.
He was just waiting while we rambled to find the list.
Yeah, that's what I was just letting you guys talk while I tried to find it. It was on my desktop, I just couldn't see it.
Push the window button and type in spooky to find spooky.txt.
.exe.
.exe.
Yeah.
Spooky.exe.
I tried Deadly Premonition for a couple of hours on PC, which it's not exactly. It's supposed to be a horror game, but it's not very scary. It's just funny. Because
it's very.
Have you seen it? Have you seen anything about it?
I've seen a Let's Play of it. It's very cheesy and
yeah,
the characters act in very strange ways.
Yeah, and
it's more funny than anything, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. It was really funny. Probably the scariest bit about it was just the PC port of it is terrible. It it doesn't run well.
It's the cheesiest thing you could have said.
I know. I guarantee everyone who's looked at the PC version has said that, but yeah, it doesn't work all that well. It crashes. It can't go higher than 720p, and even then it still runs poorly. Yeah, I'm getting the Switch version.
The Switch version.
Yeah, because the Switch version looks and runs better than the PC version does.
When the Switch is running better than the PC,
it's
what's going on.
It's a slightly higher resolution and a slightly higher frame rate.
How? I should.
Apparently, the sequel isn't much better technically.
Oh no, the sequel is terrible. It's gotten better, I think, in updates.
What, in terms of performance and that? I've heard that it chugs just as bad.
I mean, when it first came out, the open world bit ran at like 8 FPS. But now they've updated it. It runs at a whopping 20 on average.
Oh.
I don't think they optimized the game at all when they released it. They were just like, whatever.
Sam, our resident FPS bully.
People were defending it when they came out. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. It's part of the charm that it runs terribly."
FPS.
Yeah, it's like no, it just distracts from it. So yeah, I tried that for a couple of hours, and I enjoyed it enough to want to play it more. But I just want to play it on a better place than the PC.
I played like 5 minutes of it. I think I just didn't have much time to play it or whatever. It wasn't like a scathing thing. But the intro is very strange in and of itself, like the two kids whispering to each other.
Oh yeah, that bit. I assume that makes more sense when you get further into the game, because I played like 3 hours and I didn't get far enough in to really get that big a grasp on the story.
The sequel came out this year, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a couple of months ago, I think. Yeah, I also played another horror game that's supposed to be scary, but it's mostly just funny, which is Michigan Report from Hell. It's an interesting idea for a horror game. It's first person, and you're a cameraman doing like a news report. So you tell the reporter where to go, and you film them, and you get points depending on what bits you film. Like if you film someone dying, you get immoral points, but if you film someone bending over or whatever, you get different points depending on what you film. Acting's terrible, like Deadly Premonition. Very, very bad, but very, very funny.
I love bad acting in video games.
It seems to just go hand in hand with horror video games.
It's like Resident Evil 1 where they say
that's the example everyone's thinking of, isn't it?
Stop. Don't open that door.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Jill sandwich. Yeah.
I can't wait to play 1 and not hear that line. Because I'm playing the GameCube version.
You fixed it.
It's so sad.
They had full-on FMVs.
Mm.
In the PS1 version, it was just live-action FMV.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Weird.
Interesting.
Have you not seen that?
It's very cheesy.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen a little bit, like 1 or 2 minutes.
But yeah, the concept of that game, Michigan, I've forgotten the rest of the title.
Report from Hell. It's a terrible subtitle for a game. I think in Japan they just called it Michigan.
Michigan J-Frog. Yeah, it's an interesting concept.
Yeah,
Really? It's not the best we can come up with Michigan.
It's an interesting concept. I just don't think they had the money or talent to do it like properly.
It makes me think of that scene in Resident Evil 7 where like you play back a old VHS.
Oh yeah.
And then you play the footage.
Like the Ghost Hunter guys or whatever. Am I thinking of the right thing?
I guess it's turned on its head. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but not scary.
It's perfect for a horror game when it's not scary.
It's just like out of the 2 or 3 horror games I played in preparation, none of them were particularly scary, which is sad.
Didn't you play a bit of Killer 7 this month?
I beat that game, yeah, but I wouldn't class it as a horror.
Yeah, but just in general. Paper Mario is not a horror game, I can tell you that now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, if you affix .exe at the end of it. Alright, let's talk about general news before we spook it up.
There wasn't much this month, but there was still some stuff. So on October the 1st, it was announced that Nintendo would be announcing the 7th DLC fighter for Smash.
Yeah.
The day came, and turns out it was Minecraft Steve that got in.
How do you guys feel about that?
What's it called? I was in a park when I watched this, right? And I was just in the middle of the public, just laughing my head off at it.
You were punching trees in the park.
Yeah, sure.
Trying to get a pickaxe.
Yeah, I wanted Dante, because that's all I ever want, but Steve was...
Yeah, we all know you want Dante.
Yeah, don't mention it enough.
Yeah, that's new information. I didn't know you wanted Dante. That's mad. You should say that more,
Change your
right?
middle name to Dante for Smash. Why don't you?
What's it called every single DLC? I'm thinking, come on, please.
I'm ambivalent.
Have you played
I can.
Steve?
Hmm?
Have you played Steve?
No.
I'm gonna get...
I bought the DLC pack, so I have him because he's out now, isn't he?
Yeah, it's been out for a couple of days.
Played the games.
I'm gonna buy Steve. It's next week or 2, I want to say.
I can understand why he's in Smash, and I'm not like outraged or anything, but at the same time, he's not an interesting character to me. Well, can you even really call Steve from Minecraft much of a character?
Yes.
Apart from his looks, no, not really. He's not known for much.
He's not much of a person. His animations are really funny for the wrong reasons. Like,
Yeah, they look really out of place.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know.
It took Sakurai way too long, much longer than any other fighter, because of how much from the source he had to deal with.
Minecraft is fun and all that, but in terms of IP, there's just less interesting to me than like Crash Bandicoot or something.
Yeah, we still have 4
Which
fighters.
I was kind of crossing my fingers for.
It makes
Yeah,
sense
there's
as
still
well.
4 fighters to go, so you never know. So I want to say October 3rd was a 45-minute showcase of Steve. He showed off all of his movesets, showed off like the Joker and Hero amiibo were coming out this month, and that next year we're having Banjo, Terry, and Byleth amiibos.
That Banjo-Kazooie amiibo looks cool.
The Byleth one doesn't have a female variant, but
Why do you want a female Byleth?
Oh, let me get the jar out now. No.
It's not. Can that go?
Yes.
I don't
Why
know
not?
if that's okay.
I didn't say anything rude. Just said, let me grab the jar. Sure, the connotations are bad, but
Mm.
you'll think
Yeah,
about it in
final say.
editing.
Yeah.
No, there was a couple of me costumes that were pretty funny. Creeper and Minecraft Pigger costumes.
Yeah, and they're not done like the creatures that they are. They've changed into human proportion things.
Can I please post Sans Creeper? Another mini fighter that was kind of disappointing for. Well, I'm glad he's in, but I prefer as a fighter as Trevor's touchdown from No More Heroes.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, I'm glad he's in.
My main gripe is they didn't put any music from the games in with him. Because the games have really good music, and it'd be cool to have them in
Okay.
Smash.
Please just give me Kill Be Killed at some point.
But it doesn't. It's just the costume.
Yeah, Sans Creeper is one of the most terrifying things that this game has made yet. The fire came out, I played against him a lot, and he looks fun. I can imagine in a couple of months the pros will show he's one of the more technical characters, but in a fun casual experience, yeah, it's pretty great.
What do you think of Minecraft, Steve, and Smash? Say in the comments below. And I don't know.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. And hug your friends.
Yeah.
Well, don't actually. You're supposed to stay.
Stay indoors, stay 2 meters from everyone, please.
Yeah.
Wear a mask.
So you can,
Air hug your friends.
yeah, do it over the internet or something.
Yeah, I'm hugging Figgy right now over the internet.
You stop that.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Keep that in.
No.
No.
Where were we?
Crash
Where we
4.
going?
Crash 4 was released.
It was.
Yeah. You're the only one who's played it, right?
I've watched a fair bit
Played
of
in
it.
quotation marks.
I thought Crash 4 came out 18 years ago, but that's just me.
That doesn't count.
It should. I very much understand why they're doing it, but because someone who defends Wrath of Cortex a lot, it's whatever. It's up to Activision, really.
They're declaring that game not to be canon, but they're fine with pushing that stupid OC character thing, the Mega Mix.
Oh, that Abomination character.
Abomination from a GBA game.
I hate that Abomination character.
That's the one in
It's
Crash
the
2
lame.
Racing, right?
It's the worst idea. Just mixing a bunch of characters together that don't blend.
That's probably the
I
point,
think-
is that they don't blend. So
Well,
like,
it's
oh,
got-
we
Yeah,
try
but
and blend
it's just
it.
ugly and
Yeah,
To be
looks
fair, the
horrible.
guys from Vicarious Visions designed that,
That's their fault.
so Activision have full right to that, unfortunately.
ugh,
Yeah,
that is appropriate talk for a Halloween episode.
yeah. What's it called? It makes sense why they're doing Crash 4, because now it's the Activision, like, it's how Activision wants to see the series as.
And also, yeah, they just released the trilogy remastered, didn't they? I say just, that was a while ago, but...
Yeah.
So now it just seems like it makes sense. It goes, you get 1, 2, 3 in a bundle, and then 4.
I'm hoping that Crash 4 eventually comes to PC. I can't guarantee it'd be too great on Switch, because it's quite well detailed, but if they can get Witcher 3 fully working, I can't see an issue with...
Yeah, they got the trilogy on Switch, they can probably get a Crash 4.
Trilogy, I know is locked at 30 FPS on Switch, but it is well on PS4 actually. So,
I think it was 30 FPS on everything.
no, it wasn't. Steam got 60,
Alright.
which makes sense.
But yeah, there's some weird choices in that game. I need to play more of it, but as far as I know, like Dingo Doll says an adult word in it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Does he really?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
no joke.
It's such a weird thing for a Crash game.
Yeah, it's, like the edgy platformer phase was 15 years ago. With, like,
No,
Shadow
The game's
the
rated
Hedgehog.
12, and I don't know if there's like much else in terms of
No,
like
only
objectionable content because I'm
Dingo
trying
Dial
I'm trying to
swears.
avoid spoilers.
Only Dingo Dial swears.
Well, he's supposed to be like stereotypical Australian, so I guess it's in character.
Right,
but
well, they could have had a much worse word.
it's just weird.
It just doesn't seem right. Of all words
I
as
don't know.
well. It's one of the stronger ones you can use.
I mean, at a 12, you can get away with, at least I know in terms of films with the 12, you can get some Fs in there. You can get away
Yeah.
with a
You
lot
could
in
have said,
12s.
"Where's that ding dang fourth Chaos Emerald?" Gosh darn it!
I heard it had very much positive reviews, which is always nice to see.
I haven't seen anything. I watched Digital Foundry's video on it, just because I was interested to see how it
Let me just
ran,
go on Metacritic to see.
but I've forgotten how
Yeah.
it ran.
Around 85 on PS4 and 83 on Xbox One.
Yeah, that's pretty good then.
Yeah, very good. Let's move on.
Super Mario 35!
35. I played a few rounds, but I'm not good at the original Mario Bros, so it's not for me.
I've
Vicky,
played
you-
none
Would
of
you
it.
guys say that it wears out its welcome? Because I wouldn't say that, but I saw an article with someone saying that it does.
Well, one's been used a fair bit over the years. Like, the first game's been used a fair bit over the years, but the others have as well, so you can't exactly take aim at the first game. I can't see it lasting past March, so they'll definitely take it down. Sometimes they've kept games up, but I can't see this one being one of them.
I think the first Super Mario Brothers game is basic enough that it has a fair amount of replayability, because you can just speedrun it and
So that's
try different paths or whatever.
it's good and all until three people send you a Bowser, and you just kind of have to accept you've lost. Yeah, it's not as fun as Tetris 99, that's for sure, but comparing a puzzle game to a platformer game isn't exactly...
As an anniversary game, I'd say it does the job and does it well.
Yeah, for a couple months, like a Nintendo Switch Online exclusive and it being free is alright.
And speaking of free anniversary games, how's that for a segue?
What do you mean?
There was that Yakuza game.
Oh, Streets of
Oh.
Kamurocho. Yeah.
That's the one.
haven't played that yet.
Sega's 60th anniversary.
Yeah.
Um,
Have any
It's
of you
basically
played it?
one level repeated.
Oh, okay.
So it's like 10 minutes long, really, and it was enjoyable.
I've heard it described, and I'm not sure how accurate it is, but as a more or less reskin of Streets of Rage
Yes.
2. So,
Yes,
but still, it's free, so you can't complain.
and the protagonist from 7 is an unlockable character.
Oh,
So you have,
spoil.
oh man, I mean, if you just play it for 10 minutes, you get it. It's not much.
Oh, okay.
It's only 34 megabytes. It won't like.
Oh, I don't know if I've got that much spare.
Like, yeah, it's a really small game. It's for the 10 minutes it is. It's very fun. I enjoyed it.
There was a bit of drama with the other Sega anniversary game that they released, Golden Axe.
Oh yeah.
I think that was because the devs were like mad or something.
Did you guys hear about it? It was a troubled development where there was quite a bit of crunch going into it, but the game just didn't come to surface. And then Sega have released this game as just a novelty, like, oh, look at how bad it is, sort of thing.
Oh, that's sad.
And the head dev got quite annoyed.
The devs got very much off.
I think there were people saying that he was being a bit dramatic, given that he knew that he was signing up for a crunch. I don't know. It's a weird thing where I don't particularly want to take sides without an informed.
Yeah, I don't like crunches, but I know what they're necessary at times.
You could just delay your game.
Yeah, but it's 60th anniversary, they want to try and make it on time. Or they start development earlier.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the publisher's fault. Start earlier.
Yeah, it's Sega's fault, not anyone else's.
Thing is, a crunch game is normally either just axed outright or is just sold as a good game when it's got severe faults.
What's it called?
It's not. This is a very unusual situation where they've tried to salvage it by self-depreciating. Is that the word?
I believe so.
Oh, what?
By talking it down.
You'll have your characters say how bad the game is, and then that excuses
Cyberpunk went through a crunch for the last couple of months of development.
A lot of the big games go through it. Like Red Dead 2 did, Last of Us 2 did. A lot of good games come out of it, but that's just because there's lots of people working really quick.
Last of Us 2 crunch led to a situation where the plot got leaked, cutscenes got leaked, wasn't it?
The cutscenes got leaked, but I don't remember why.
I
remember it happening though.
Apparently it was like some intern that did it because of the crunch.
Right.
But this is just informed information, so I can't guarantee it. But when it happened at the time, that was one of the main stories that was coming from it. It's just necessary, unfortunately. Like for any big game, just try and get out in it time.
I think so. Is it really though? Because the big games are being made by big studios. Surely they've got the money to push it back a bit, rather than have your workers do double the paid hours without getting paid.
I'd prefer if a game got delayed to having workers deal with awful times working on it. Because if their morale's getting destroyed because they're on crunch, then the game may not be as good. But like big studios like Naughty Dog or Rockstar, they can push a game back and they won't like suffer any financial loss.
I mean, yeah, normally they do delay stuff a bit. They'll delay it once or twice and they just go, well, we don't want to delay it anymore.
Also, there might be disagreement on what qualifies as a crunch. Like how many hours overtime.
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah, there's overtime, couple of
until
hours.
It is a crunch.
But then there's...
Yeah, that wouldn't be I wouldn't qualify that as a crunch.
No, that's just overtime.
But
a crunch is when they're working way more hours.
People sleeping in the office.
Yeah, like the LA Noire crunch.
Crazy stuff like that.
Where they're just bullied into working basically all day. And you'd get stares if you like left at 3 in the morning and came back at 9. They'd be like, how dare you?
I feel like that's how Konami treated Metal Gear Solid 5, but I can't guarantee that. I feel like that's something they do.
There were some pretty horrible things that came to light in the Konami controversy.
Metal Gear Solid 5 had so much controversy behind it. Kojima wasn't allowed to pick up his award because Konami lawyers said no. Kojima production employees weren't allowed access to the internet. We worked stupid hours. Laughed at if they ever made a mistake. This was quite a rather interesting one. America Alive popped up a couple days ago, and I'm loving all the Twitter clips I'm seeing of it. Someone did it so it'd go under the bed, and so a cat just blocked it off. Yeah, there's also been some crazy courses, of course. It's an interesting concept. You just need a lot of space for that.
I've picked it up, but I've yet to actually play it.
house tour. You have to do a house tour with
House tour Mario Kart.
Mario Kart live stream.
It seems like the next step for Scalextrics. Instead of having tracks that the cars are attached to and you go around the track, you can just go anywhere.
Yeah, it does just feel like a sort of modern take on the whole RC car thing. RC and Scalextrics.
It looks pretty funny, to be fair.
I'd be interested to
How
see.
much does it cost?
I can't remember. I think it was like 70 quid or something. Or maybe 80 quid.
Ooh, wait for that to go down first. Hold on. Just gonna set up a course on my roof and make Luigi like drop down.
Well, considering it's got a whole RC
Okay,
car
fine.
with a high quality camera on it,
How big's the car? Do you know?
I haven't actually taken it out
Is
the
it like
box.
Hot Wheels size? Or... Oh.
Yeah, Analog recently announced their latest console, FPGA console. It's called the Analog Duo, and it's going to be their first system to have a disk drive in it. So it plays TurboGrafx and TurboGrafx CD games, or PC Engine as it's called in Japan. It's one of those cases where it's got weird region names.
Is it region lock?
I'm assuming that this you'll probably be able to play both on because it says TurboGrafx and PC Engine games.
Right.
I don't know a whole lot about TurboGrafx, to be honest, so I don't know if this is something I'd pick up because I don't even have any games for it. So
Probably not worth it then.
yeah, Analog make good content though, so I suppose anyone who's got even the slightest bit of interest in TurboGrafx and the money to look into it, it might be interesting to you. Also, it has support for wireless controllers just natively instead of plugging in an adapter, so that's always nice as well. But yeah, HDMI quality out. Oh, and it looks like it'll have support for the Pocket thing as well.
Oh.
What is this? They're having like an adapter release that lets you play the small slim cards for the PC Engine directly in the handheld.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably more interesting to me because I want to get a Pocket anyway. So that would be a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So of course it's the month of October and it's Halloween this month, so we thought we'd talk about some Halloween related game content.
What are your guys' favourite Halloween titles?
What specifically to do at Halloween?
Well,
A scare horror game then.
yeah. Games... Do you guys consider it a Halloween game if it's a scary game? Like if it's got zombies in it and it's not scary? To me, a Halloween game can be anything that's got at least a scary element to it. Or a horror-ish element to it. So I'd consider like Stubbs the Zombie a Halloween game because it's got a zombie you play as. But it's not a horror game in that it's not trying to scare you.
I just relate Halloween to horror games really.
So it has to be scary in some way.
Well, it's supposed to be horror themed because most horror games I've played haven't actually been scary.
Yeah, that's true. I don't get scared by Resident Evil games generally.
But the thing is, like, horror games have never been my scene, so this year is my first year playing them, and all I've played is Resident Evil, so it's not even that bad.
Yeah, I've been getting more into them as time's gone on.
I'm slowly realizing I'm getting better with horrors.
I don't like jump scare horror.
No.
I don't like being startled so much. Like I wouldn't be able to enjoy Five Nights at Freddy games, I don't think.
No.
You know how this month has been Resident Evil for us?
Yeah, Ryan and I have been playing Resident Evil 0.
Didn't you tell me next year's Silent Hill?
I didn't say anything about Silent Hill.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. I think I even remember it.
Yesterday. Yeah, like 2 days ago.
Whenever the last Resident Evil stream was.
Me and my promises.
Yeah.
You're making me play Silent Hill. But yes, I will play Silent Hill next year to and get even more confused by puzzles.
Freddy Fazbear.
Freddy Fazbear is now coming to
Don't
Smash Brothers.
Don't turn this into a game theory podcast.
Freddy Fazbear in Silent Hill.
Freddy Fazbear in
Game
Videogames
theory.
XD.
Yeah, special guest for next Halloween.
I'm assuming we try and play most of the Silent Hill games.
From what I've heard, the
Like
only
one-
ones that are any cop are the first 4.
Yeah, and maybe Origins if I actually nah. Just play the first 4.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what do you think Resident Evil 0? I'm enjoying it.
I'm very much enjoying it. It's better than the 4 is going to be.
I do get a bit frustrated with the save system, but then I think that's me making a
don't
rod for my own
understand.
back by trying not to save too often.
We're both playing on easies just so we get more ink ribbons.
Yeah, and you're swimming in ink ribbons, so it's silly to, hold back on using them.
I've saved at least 6 more times than you have from what we've played.
I do really like some of the set pieces, like the visuals going on.
The issue is, after, the puzzles on the train I could figure out, but once you get into the training facility and past that, I'm very much needing a guide,
Yes,
unfortunately.
I do find some bits a bit obtuse, and the fixed camera angles I do struggle with a bit. In certain
They're
situations.
They're growing on me, to be fair. The 6 inventory slots is painful,
Yeah.
and in Resi 1 it ain't much better. Chris has 6 and Jill has 8. So I'm assuming we'll both be playing Jill when we get to Resi 1.
Also,
That's probably next month.
Ryan is playing the original GameCube release, but I'm playing on the PS4, the remaster.
Resi 0 and Resi 1 are my first ever GameCube games.
I'm not really sure
So
if there's much controller difference or anything.
I mean, you're playing with I'm playing with a bit more wacky controller, you can say.
You don't have a left shoulder button. You've only got Z.
No,
So
you don't use that for much anyway, so it's not too bad.
But I don't know if they've changed the way that the controls function or anything.
It's really nice, the GameCube controller layout for Resi.
There is an option to do widescreen they introduced, but it just sort of stretches the background image somewhat. So you can just do it. The original 4x3 is an option as well.
Oh, is that an in-game option?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And the cutscenes look a bit off on the PS4 version in a way that I don't know if they do on the GameCube.
No, they look fine for me.
Black
They look
levels.
fine for me.
Or it might be on something to do with my setup, but the blacks in the FMVs, like the black colours, are crushed. I don't. Is that
I
is
don't
that how
get
you
that
describe it?
feeling.
You've seen it, Sam. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
the black levels. Instead of being going from dark black to greyish to whatever colour the lighting is, it's just sort of all black and then a really crunchy pixelized thing, and then
Yeah.
the light. It just blends different shades of black into one shade.
Complex
looks really bad.
shadows or shaded areas would just become like artifacts, somewhat.
Yeah, it was quite
I'm
boring.
assuming.
Not boring. What?
It was quite boring.
It was quite ugly.
Yeah, it wasn't
Okay.
a good thing.
No.
I hate when the ugly things are boring. What's it called? We should beat 0-1 this year.
This
This
year.
Don't tie
not,
well.
not for Halloween, just for this year.
Yeah, you've still got 2 weeks.
Yeah, we are go. If you don't, I will. That's all I'm saying. And then next year I can play 2, 3, 7, 8, maybe Code Veronica, and maybe 1 or 2 of the Wii titles.
There's too many games in the series. There's Survival and Outbreak and
I like the spin-offs.
I only want to get.
Umbrella Chronicles.
I want to get Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside Chronicles at some point on the way.
I like Umbrella Chronicles a lot.
I couldn't really jive with it.
They're relatively trip and go back through just old parts of the game. We have 3 other Resi games that we've all played that we can talk about.
Yeah. 4, 5, and 6.
And
The Holy Trinity.
do we want to go in order of those then?
Yeah. Do you want to start with 4, go up?
4's my favourite in the series, there's no doubt about that.
I would say 4 is the finest game from what I've played, but I do enjoy 5 for having co-op.
We'll get onto that in a minute. I very much enjoyed 4. I very much like Leon as a character.
I feel like 4 goes on a bit long though. A bit
I
longer
was
than
going to
it needs
mention
to.
that. Yeah.
If in doubt, just use Rocket Launcher.
Like, it
That's pretty much every Resi 4 boss.
feels like it's going to end, and then it goes on for another hour or
and
two.
then it doesn't.
Yeah, and then it feels like it's going to end, and then it goes on for another hour.
Mhm.
It's like, come on,
I think
wrap it up.
I think one of those.
The weird like bass
Well,
level at
quite
the
funny.
end, they probably could have just omitted, and it would have felt a fine length. I would have thought.
Ada's just as good as ever in the game. She don't do much though on 4.
Did you play the Ada
Um,
chapters?
No, I did not. I need to get around to doing that, which means I have to install it again. Fudge.
They weren't too bad.
It has some really nice
Yeah,
touches in
quite
it
nice.
as well. Resident Evil 4, like the
That's a-
is it a pocket watch? No, it's not a pocket watch. It's a necklace that's hanging up above a well, and you can either just shoot the necklace so it falls into the dirty water and then pick it up, or you can shoot a little support beam that's holding up a like wooden platform, and then that'll fall over the well, and then when you shoot the necklace down, it won't get dirty and it'll be worth more when you sell it.
Oh, that's cool.
I love small little things like that.
I very much like the merchant in the game. He's quite nice.
He's a fun, weird character.
I very much love the inventory space you have in 4.
Yeah, I think the ideal Resident Evil inventory would be Resident Evil 4, like the way you can move the items around and they actually, take up the amount of space that would be logical for them to take up. Like an egg's the size of an egg and a shotgun's the size of a shotgun.
Yeah.
But then the way they could expand upon that, or I would think would be nice, whatever, would be if the items could have different shapes rather than just be all rectangles or squares. And then that could make it a bit more complicated. And assign hotkeys. Because they don't use any hotkey. They don't use like the D-pad on the GameCube controller. I don't believe for Resident Evil 4. Or I think it just moves you
played
around like
4,
an
5.
analog stick.
Right.
I played 4, 5, and 6 on PC.
I played 4 on the Wii, which had the very nice aim.
5 you can map like 4 different things to your arrow or D-pad, and that was nice. So just
And then
add like a
6.
thing like that to Resident Evil 4 and it's gold.
When Leon runs in QTs in 4, I get terrified. That's not normal. Running.
His arms like flail about. It's like they just sped up the animation.
I don't get the hate for Ashley in that game. I don't think she's that bad an escort mission.
I don't remember ever dealing with her running off and dying, and I had to redo a bit.
Just tell her to hide in a bin.
Yeah, easy.
That's how I usually
Oh,
work.
also that was another nice touch in that game that I saw in like videos. Is if she's standing up above you.
Shove the character in a...
Oh, you saw in videos, did you?
What? I didn't do it.
Yeah, sure.
I did. I think what's it called, Sam and Jim told me about it, and I did it a fair few
I'm
times.
wholesome, but yeah, other
I'm
other
not.
people use a sniper rifle to look up her dress, and then she scolds the people for
Yeah.
doing it.
Leon!
That's cool.
No, I was just using. I was just using a pistol.
It's the
I
close.
just wanted to see her freak out at me.
That's the closest you'll get to Sandy Cheeks calling you a pervert.
Ah,
my dream.
It's the same voice actor.
really?
Did you not know that?
Okay.
No, I don't look up the voice actors of every character.
Well, now you know.
I don't look up voice actors for video games. One of the weirdest parts was the boss fight against what's his name, like Krauser.
Oh,
You end up just grabbing your knife and just a knife fight at that point.
oh yeah, in like
It's
the
one-
ruined village area.
Yeah, you go on the top platform and just start knifing it.
Oh, that thing, yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of that.
The snakes hidden in the ammo boxes when you knife them. They happened every 4 hours. That's why they were scary to me.
The fact that they don't happen all that much
Also-
makes it more surprising when it does. It happened every other time, it'd be boring.
The issue with 4 on Steam is I'm kind of locked into playing it at 30 FPS. You might remember
no.
this issue, Sam.
Yeah, there's bugs if you play it at 60 with some of the quick time events.
Yeah, you can't do QTEs if you're playing at 60. It's not a massive difference, it's just a slight inconvenience, but apart from that, no, it's fine.
The game logic's tied to frame rate,
I assume
presumably.
So yeah, when it runs at double the frame rate, it expects you to put inputs in at double the speed. I liked it had cross promotion with the guns. One of the pistols in the game was called Killer 7. Obviously,
yeah, that's
reference
true.
to Killer 7, because that was coming out around the same time.
Capcom was publishing that.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, we might as well promote the other game that's going to sell terribly, which it did.
Yeah, it sold horrible, but I was expecting it from that kind of a very obscure title.
But yeah, Resident Evil 4 was my first game in the Resident Evil series. Like, I saw my friend play it on PS2, and I thought it looked really cool. And I got the Wii edition, which is a very solid port.
It is.
I got the Steam version for Christmas and didn't play it till July. Or June.
SMH.
What's it called? I think I was doing it because at the time, well, we were getting ready to play 5 and 6.
Yeah. Because we were going to do remote play or whatever for 5 and 6, and you're like, oh, I want to do 4 first.
And then I decided, no, hold on, I'm just going to buy the games. I've played remote play, I don't need that in my life.
Resident Evil 4 is really weird in how it handles geography or whatever. Like, it's supposed to be a Spanish village, but then don't they talk like in a more Mexican sort of dialect or something like that? And they also use pesos, which is a different currency.
Now we learned what they were. They were pre-Spanish currencies, the euros.
Oh yeah, I think I googled it at one point when Ryan was playing.
I do know that they do actually speak proper Spanish of some kind.
Yeah,
And
the same
a
words.
lot of them say brains, I think, like just like zombies, and then one of them says, "Hey, idiot," behind you, if they've snuck up behind you, which I think is a funny little detail.
Yeah. I remember one of them saying, "Hey, paisanos."
No, that was the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Oh.
Same thing.
Yeah, Mario looks a bit like a zombie.
I want a cheesy Resident Evil TV show.
There's like 4 films you can watch that are all incredibly, incredibly cheesy.
I suppose that's true. Should we move on to 5?
You always see them at charity shops.
Yeah, 5. That.
Well, you played 5 like 12 times by
I
now.
like 5 is an alright action game, but
5 is my least favourite in the series.
the location isn't scary, the characters aren't generally as interesting.
I don't like Chris too much.
The inventory
He's fine.
the inventory system is worse.
Sam, you've played it twice now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Once with Figgy and once with me.
Yeah, it's my least favourite out of the 3, but it's still okay.
It's
I like
fine,
it more than Resident Evil
punching
6, definitely. It's weird how
Interesting.
It's weird how having like chapter breaks has really affected the feel of the game for me though. Like Resident Evil 4 feels like a more cohesive adventure just because it doesn't kick you out like to the main menu between every chapter. Like it feels way less segmented.
It's because it's online co-op basically, isn't it?
Yeah,
So you
that's
gotta
pretty
wait
much
for your
it.
opponent to ready it up.
But like Resident Evil 4, it felt like more vulnerable. Like you'd have to really manage your inventory a lot more, whereas in Resident Evil 5 you can just like go back to the first mission and farm stuff and change your inventory however you want and have like a whole bunch of storage at your disposal.
I was Chris in 5, right?
Yeah, I think.
I think so.
I gotta punch the boulders.
Yeah.
Why?
Chris continued the bloodline
I was just-
Redfield. Punching
The
the
ball.
boulders.
The boulders now bearing his child.
Continue the Redfield lineage.
Wesker's-
That is a weird little meme
I don't know why it's such
in-joke.
like a big. Yeah, it's such an expensive thing.
It's just a very in joke with us.
It's funny though.
What's it?
I don't
What's
fully
it called,
understand the context in the game series for it. I don't think, but
No, there's
Or
just
maybe
like a
there
million
Something to do with
videos
two,
online.
Probably. It's pretty much got everything to do with 2, probably. The game I haven't touched yet. Wesker's interesting, that's for sure. He just goes Ultra Instinct on you and just dodges everything you throw at him, basically, for a bit.
it just annoyed me how the
Which is really
final battle seemed to break every time I played it. Like, you just die as Shiva, even when he's not near.
Oh yeah.
one of the most frustrating things with 5 is a bug, I believe. Like, it was like an actual like insect. And it
No.
was so hard to kill and you die so often to
Yeah,
it.
they like squeeze you. I thought you were going to say a game bug, which me and Sam had
No,
on the PC version.
no, me and Sam had to
Oh.
skip several levels.
On the ship
for the
level,
bugs.
there's a bit where you have to kill an enemy and they drop a key card, but they just don't drop one on the Steam version.
Well, they did when I played it. I
Yeah,
think.
we had
Yeah, we reset that once, didn't we?
Didn't you download a patch or
Yeah.
something?
No.
I didn't.
No, I think we just had to redo it. We just reloaded the checkpoint like 5 times, and eventually it
Oh.
worked.
I think I had the
It's
same
just
issue
like
with Robbie
how-
or something. I can't remember.
You weren't supposed to fight like Jill in a Jill and Wesker fight, so when we first did it, I started beating the shit out of Jill and got like told off for it. It was okay. It was just the weakest of the series for me.
Weakest of the
I played
series.
4 games.
It was the most nothing
think-
of what I
played
played.
4.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like, oh my god.
I can enjoy moments of it, especially like campiness of it.
Punching a boulder.
Yeah, like the ridiculous moments stand out. A lot of the bosses are just like leeches though.
Yes.
It's weird. And in terms of scare factor, there was like nothing. I think the scariest thing that happened in that game was just when you're walking by a bunch of regular cardboard boxes, or what seemed like regular ones, and then someone jumps out from behind them.
That's
Like
just
a
jump
like a very
scare,
meticulous.
isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. It's just a
Yeah.
lazy jump scare. Like, and he's meticulously placed boxes in front of him, even though he's a zombie. It's weird. I can't think of anything scarier than that in that game, though. It's very light in that regard. Oh, I guess there's the like corpses that are going towards the incinerator, and then when you walk past them, sometimes they'll lunge up at you. But again,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
just another jump scare. And once you've done it, once it's happened to you once, you're already over it.
I can remember much more from 6 than I can 5. Speaking of which, do we want to move on to 6 now?
Yeah, I think so.
The one that has the most conflicting opinions on here.
I don't care for 6 at all. I thought it was a slog.
Nah, 6 was fun, man.
I don't get why.
It was a
It
bit.
drags a bit because it gets long. Like the first Leon's campaign is the best.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that
Leon.
front, that Leon's campaign has the most promising like beginning, like the graveyard section's cool.
Yeah, once you get to Ada's, and yeah, it's dragging on way too much at that point. But
I still enjoyed the whole thing though.
I remember when we gave up halfway through and started going down a slide.
Yeah, there's a bit with a little kids park and you can go down the slide.
No offense, but you guys are weird for like Resident Evil 6. There, I said it.
What? Alright. You're just gonna pull Robbie out of nowhere. He's just gonna start like.
Well, it's
Nah, it
generally
was-
agreed that it's like the worst of the series, isn't it?
A lot of people.
No.
I think it's one of those.
Well,
A lot of people hate
say
it,
that.
but as it's going on, people are like what happens in most games that people don't like when it comes out. In 5-10 years, everyone loves it. It's like the hidden gem of the series, or whatever.
Yeah.
That happens with every game
Yeah,
that's disliked. It comes back and everyone's like, oh, it's actually incredible. I don't know why people dislike it.
It's not incredible, that's definitely for sure. But it was fun for the time I played it.
I liked it, yeah.
It's a lot.
I liked it,
Yeah.
but no more. It was just fun and silly and really cheesy and actiony, and it was good.
Ada's campaign doesn't even have any proper explanation for the co-op.
It was just added in after the game was released because people wanted to play it in co-op.
What definitely shows the way she hook shots around and then this nameless agent character just appears next to her each time,
I had to play as the agent and I just teleported all the time.
who's absent from all the cutscenes.
I mean, it's kind of hard, so you'd have to rework a lot of cutscenes to get them in. I know 6 is the conflicting one, but I liked it. It's not much more than like. It was my second favorite out of the out of the series I played, but
You just like the chicken
series
slime
come
lady.
along and said, no, don't mention that, please.
That was a
But then
weird
Zero came
boss.
along and I was like, if Zero keeps going the way Zero's probably gonna be better than 4 for me somehow. But we'll have to wait and see.
What other Halloween games do you guys want to talk about?
I want to get into Luigi's Mansion.
I love Luigi's Mansion. I've played that a whole bunch of times. It's a fun little adventure. That used to scare me as a little kid. I don't know why.
I was a little kid, yeah, probably.
It's got like effective atmosphere. It's got a better horror atmosphere than a lot of genuine horror games that have like heavy action.
Here's a statement that's probably gonna get me, like, someone questioning me. I found Doki Doki more scary than any Resident Evil game I've played so far. I think it's just because I don't like psychological horrors that much.
I didn't really like it all that much. It was just...
I don't like it.
I don't remember being
I was
scared.
playing it
It was just like, oh, okay, they've died. Wow, oh, wow.
It
now the
wasn't
game's
like...
doing something, wow. I didn't
I mean,
get the
I
appeal.
was... I've never seen it before, so I managed to avoid it for so many years, so...
I haven't played it.
It wasn't like... It was more scary than Resident Evil, but it wasn't that bad.
Luigi's Mansion's definitely a defanged horror game.
Yeah.
It can't have any objectionable content, being that it's more of a family type game.
But it's horror themed.
Yeah,
It's got spookiness, it's got ghosty, it's got a haunted mansion, but it's not scary.
the mansion's great. It's like almost like a Resident Evil style mansion. I like the contrast of a detailed house with a cartoony character in it.
It was a great debut for his first outing on his own.
Definitely.
I'll have to pick up all 3 games at some point.
Luigi's Mansion 2, I think, was the low point in the series. I would say.
It switched devs up, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, the first one was made just by like Nintendo's main team, wasn't it? And then a second party dev did Luigi's Mansion 2, I believe. And it was
They let Next Level Games take over.
they did an alright job, but
Seeing that Next Level Games did Luigi's Mansion 3, so...
Luigi's Mansion 3 was a huge upgrade from it.
Next Level Games... I like
That
Next Level
game's-
Games just because of Mario Strikers.
Yeah, that is a good series. Luigi's
And they
Mansion
also did
3
Punch
is
Out on the Wii.
beautiful though, the visuals in that game.
Yeah.
And it feels closer in design to the original in some ways. The way that it's segmented into floors. There was an
I haven't...
arcade game of Luigi's Mansion.
I think Sega had some involvement, probably.
Maybe. I played one at Thorpe Park. No, not Thorpe Park. Alton Towers. And it just looked like the 3DS game. Like, for an arcade game, the graphics were fairly underwhelming. But it had like a vibrating vacuum head thing as a light gun.
Oh, okay. That sounds kind of cool.
It was an interesting, like, accessory, but it just looked to be like reusing 3DS assets for the most part, so I wouldn't rate it as the be-all and end-all. But interesting to see Nintendo property in an arcade. Other Halloween games, I'm trying to...
I haven't got enough to say on Silent Hill for anything, sorry.
Oh, wow.
Silent Hill looks interesting. I really want to get into that series at some point, or at least the first one. All I'll say on that is that it's an interesting case of getting around technical limitations. Because everyone knows that the fog was made for rendering issues. You can have low quality and render far, or high quality and render, only nearby stuff. And the fog was there so that they could have good graphics. But it adds a good atmosphere.
Silent Hill 1 just had weird music to go. Like, the music very much added to the atmosphere.
Silent Hill in general is more of a creeping dread kind of horror, isn't it? There's not really jump scary or...
Psychological horror, I think.
Silent Hill inserts audio to help the horror.
The HD ports were quite bad apparently. Like
Bad.
the port of with 2, they removed the fog.
Yeah.
For whatever
They
reason.
ported 2 and they only ported 2 and 3 over in the PS3 HD collection.
Also,
No love for 4.
they replaced the font on the sign with Comic Sans. Which incredible.
Why?
Best
I don't know, they just did.
text. They did it because why not?
So like you've got this foggy, I think it's like a lake or something. I don't remember. So yeah, it's like loads of fog around, looks proper scary, and then Comic Sans. It's like, oh.
That's not scary. They
Yeah.
should have used the Garfield font.
Yeah, that would have been really scary.
There's Medieval. That's like a sort of silly Halloween type game.
Yeah, it's like a horror themed game.
It's interesting to play the undead character.
That part, are they gonna remake 2?
I don't know. I feel like they should have probably remade 2 with 1,
Yeah.
unless they really think that they can go for a sequel remake. But that seems kind of unlikely.
Medieval 2 deserves to be remade if 1 does.
It was a budget title as well. Like I don't think it sold for much when it was brand new.
Like, you can get Medieval for PS4 for like 15 quid. They remade 1 for the PSP. They remade the game they already remade for Medieval.
I should probably try and finish that at some point too. I got to like Pumpkin Field, which isn't too far in.
I've got something that was like, it's tangentially, I don't think that's a word, but it's somewhat related to Resident Evil, which is Evil Within, which I don't remember when that came out. Directed by the same person who did Resident Evil 1 and 4, Shinji Mikami, my boy.
Oh, that's interesting.
It wasn't all that good.
Resident Evil's got interesting like inspirations behind it, because it was like a Famicom game called Sweet Home,
Yeah.
just like very fairly old example of a horror game.
And they remade it into Resident Evil on the
And
PS1.
I think it might have also been inspired somewhat by Alone in the Dark, or if not, then it's noteworthy how similar they are in certain regards.
Yeah.
Speaking of Alone in the Dark, that game series kind of tanked and failed towards the end. Did you guys ever hear of Alone in the Dark Illumination?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I have no idea.
It's a game on Steam that's selling for very cheap. It's like a Left 4 Dead kind of thing, like you can do multiplayer with your friends. And there's different classes, take out the zombies. Fails on all fronts as a horror game and as an action game.
Brilliant.
They turned Resident Evil 4 into DMC halfway through the development. And had to make Resi 4 all over again.
Resident Evil 4 was going to have fixed camera angles too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad they reworked the original Resi 4 into Devil May Cry, because it's one of my favourite games I've played.
I think it's one of the most interesting horror Halloween series. I think
Resident Evil.
I think the other most comparable thing for that would be Castlevania.
Is it that scary?
No, it's not scary, but it's horror themed. You got to give it that. Like exploring
Yeah,
Dracula's castle, and there's.
I've only played the first one, so.
I played bits of the first one. I've not played the second one really. The third one looks interesting, and I love the fourth one.
I got the anniversary collection, so I played the first one.
I finished 4. I love that. I like the classic Castlevania formula a bit more than the RPG-ish one.
Something I learned this month is Symphony of the Nights on mobile.
Oh.
It goes for like £3, which is a lot cheaper than it goes for PS1 these days.
I'd like if Castlevania, if the two could exist, like the classic titles and the anime influence ones, as separate entities.
I must watch Castlevania anime at some point.
Oh, the anime is really good.
What's it called? I was just looking at Symphony of the Night prices and they've gone up again.
Sam, have you not had much experience or interest with Castlevania?
No, doesn't interest me.
What do you guys think of the House of the Dead series? I quite like that.
I haven't played any.
Really?
No.
Brian, have you not played one either?
What games are we on about?
House of the Dead.
No.
House of the Dead has really good bad voice acting.
Oh, yeah. I've watched a video of the voice acting, I think 2.
So
Which was
great.
Goldman. Is that his name? Is it Goldman? I don't remember.
I don't know. Goldman?
I can't remember if he's called Goldman.
I think
if he
everyone just
someone
calls him
Goldman.
G, don't they?
Yeah.
There's a character who says, "Suffer like G did." It's got like a really weird high-pitched voice.
Yeah, it sounds terrible. Yeah, every Goldman line is incredible. He does this weird thing with his voice at the end of every sentence. To protect the life cycle.
And towards the beginning, there's a guy who just says, "I don't want to die," and then the main character says, "My God." It's just really like deadpan.
I remember reading somewhere that apparently the reason it's so poor is because how it was done was that the people who were translating it were doing the voices, and it was like they were translating it as they were reading it. So like some of the intonation sounds a bit off because they didn't know what was coming next. So they'd say a question and then the response would be something that didn't fit with how they said the question. So it just leads to lots of very awkward performances.
I really like the way the game looks as well. Like it's got kind of a janky look to it because it's somewhat early 3D graphics. Well,
yeah.
Not that early, but it's like high res enough, but still low poly-ish. And yeah, there's Typing of the Dead as well. Was made from it, which is also great. It's a fun PC game. Or Dreamcast game if you have a Dreamcast keyboard.
Everyone does.
Well, I might.
Do you actually have one?
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Resi 4 also has one of the sickest controllers I've ever seen.
Oh, the chainsaw controller.
Yeah.
I really want one if they weren't so expensive.
Looks terrible.
Oh, it looks terrible. It looks terrible to play with, but for novelty, then oh yeah.
But yeah, I played House of the Dead 2, Typing of the Dead, which is just called Typing of the Dead because they didn't do one of the original game. And then I don't know if they'd ever do like if they did Typing of the Dead 2, if it would be House of the Dead 3. There's like a weird like problem they've set up for themselves there.
Yeah.
House of the Dead 3 was okay, and 4. And then there was Overkill, which was like a weird new reboot thing, but that was fun. It swore every 5 minutes. Or no, I think they did an average, and it was like an average of one F word or one F bomb every like 1 minute. And I think Nintendo had to like up their family game market or whatever because of it. I remember hearing.
Right.
I don't know how true that is. Like they'd had to like do sort of damage control.
Well, I mean, surely it'd be 18 rated though. Like,
Yeah.
what do you you don't expect it to be kid friendly?
And it's got it's going for the campy angle deliberately, very clearly, and it's got the what's it called when it's is it Grindhouse cinema? It's
Probably,
going for like a film grain and like a 70s
Oh, it looks
vibe, I
yeah.
think.
If it's very gory, then yes, like gory and campy and a bit poor looking visually, like with loads of film grain, like you said, then yeah, it's probably Grindhouse.
I'd recommend you guys get it and you can play it together even because it's got online and it's got Typing of the Dead Overkill included in it on the Steam version.
Oh,
It's neat. There's Illbleed. There's another Sega related thing.
I've heard
It's
of
on
that,
the Dreamcast.
but I know nothing
That's it.
about it.
It's very odd from what I've seen of it, like as a Let's Play. But it's got kind of a fault in that you don't see a lot of the like scary things happen if you play the game well. Like
Right.
a lot of the scare things are as a punishment. Like you have to detect traps. But it does have that Sonic the Hedgehog cameo boss. I think it was called Zodic or something.
I think I've seen a clip of that. I think you sent me it before.
Yeah, the ridiculous demonic parody. He wags his finger and everything.
Oh, I had quite a tale with Fatal Frame 4.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh yeah, we're doing the horror thing. I've always wanted to play a Fatal Frame game.
Yeah.
The first chapter of it, I thought, I was like, okay, if the rest of the game's like this will be really good. Because I liked the atmosphere of it and I was scared at some points.
Mm-hmm.
And then every chapter after it wasn't scary.
Oh.
Like, I went back to it the next day or whatever and I was like, oh, okay. This isn't all that scary. I think it might have just been because I got to grips with the combat of it. So then, because like the first couple of fights you have no idea what you're doing, so you're trying to survive, and it's scary.
I didn't know there was actual
then,
combat or traditional combat.
It's kind of like shooting in a way, because it's a camera. You're literally shooting with a camera.
Oh, okay.
So you have to line up a shot. Although they simplify it in this one, you just hold a button and wait till the gauge fills up and then shoot.
So being photographed hurts the ghosts?
Yeah, like it captures the spirit or something, and then once you do it enough, they just disappear. Like I think you suck them into the camera or something.
Okay.
Like I don't think I played enough to get the full explanation of the camera, but it's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that scary after the first chapter once you get familiar with it. Though I've heard the first 3 are better, because I think they're all fixed camera angles, so they can set up better scares. Because a lot of the scares in the 4th one is like cutting to a cutscene kind of thing, where it takes the camera. And this will.
I've heard of the series, and it's probably more earlier entries is good because it sort of makes the player has to put themselves into scary situations, because you need to see the ghosts like go up close to them to defeat them.
Yeah, I think the name of the game comes from, if you take a photo right as the ghost is about to hit you, it does loads of damage, and then you can just take loads of photos right afterwards. So it's like a risk reward kind of thing. If you let it get close and do loads of damage, or do you chip away over time? But yeah, I think it might have been the 3rd game, I don't remember, I saw a clip of it, where it set something up by having a ghost in one room, and you go in to look at that ghost, and then in the mirror in that room it shows a ghost run past you. It's like it sets up something and then completely changes it.
That is a good way to do horror.
Yeah. It's like, because like, you see the first ghost, you're like, oh, okay, we better get the camera out. And then as you go into the room, you see another ghost in the mirror run past, and the first ghost isn't even a threat. It's just there to distract you.
Oh, that's cool.
But I haven't played the first 3.
Project Zero just seems like some really pricey series to get into.
Did you guys ever play Left 4 Dead?
I played Left 4 Dead 2.
I played both of them. I remember I was initially disappointed with the first Left 4 Dead, because I thought it was going to be a story mode more like Resident Evil, like a lengthy or an actual story to it as opposed to short campaign sessions.
Yeah.
Like when my friends described it to me, I just imagined Resident Evil with 4 players, but I guess that wouldn't really work at all, so I don't know why I didn't just cotton on earlier.
Still enjoyable though.
But yeah, I like the games now. It was only after a while that I was like, oh yeah, it's not what I was expecting, but it is good.
Yeah.
And then me and my friends got into it like massively later on. But I haven't played that new add-on.
Yeah, they did an update or something somewhat recently, didn't they?
So I think it might have been like a month ago or something at the time of this recording. It's very out of left field. Like, I wasn't expecting that.
They've been doing a lot more with their games all of a sudden. Like Valve made the Half-Life game this year.
Oh yeah.
No third entry though.
Which was...
And I know that's the obvious joke everyone makes, but it's just weird that it's so consistent.
Team Fortress 3.
They don't just update.
Apple 3. No.
They update the second game in a series when it's like a decade old or more at this point, instead of making a third entry.
Has Valve ever made a game that's got a third game in its series?
Oh, I played Splatterhouse on the 360 some time ago.
Oh, the like the reboot remake thing.
Yeah, how much do you guys know of that?
I know of it, and that's it. I assume it's just like a hack and slash sort of thing.
Yeah, it was a reboot of the age-old series, or the arcade series, whatever. It didn't do too well, like, critically, but it has some interesting things going for it. Oh, I was talking about voice actors earlier. This has Jim Cummings in it, who I don't know if you guys know who that is, but
I've heard the name.
He's a very big name in voice acting.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of Disney films and TV shows. Like, he's the voice of Winnie.
Right.
He's a modern voice of like Tigger, Winnie the Pooh,
Um,
like Pete from Mickey Mouse. He's in like Hercules as random background characters and stuff like that.
Pretty big then.
And like Tasmanian Devil. He's like so many different characters. He was Robotnik in one of the Sonic cartoons. So it's weird.
Oh,
But yeah, now he's playing this like demented mask that says perverted things to you. Voice of Winnie the Pooh. It's very odd. It comes with the first 3 games included, though. You have to unlock them, but...
Or the original Mega Drive
yeah.
one. Was it on Mega Drive? That's pretty nice.
Well, the first game was an arcade game.
Right.
And then it got ported to TurboGrafx, and it got weird censorship where they, like, altered out a shrine and, like, religious references and that by just removing graphics and not even, like, removing things on top of them to make sense or anything.
Right.
Like, kind of butchered. And then there was the second one and the third one, I think, were on Mega Drive. I could be wrong. I think there's like slight differences to the ROM for legal reasons, but they're still good enough. Like, it's still one game you can get for cheap and then get 3 classic games in there
Yeah.
that aren't hard to get. So it's like a low tier recommendation.
I know we talked about this an hour or so ago, but you know how we were talking about Golden Axe?
Yeah.
It's appeared on the Steam shop today. It was released here today.
Oh, I'll check that out later.
I'm downloading it right now.
Other games I got here: Dead Island.
Oh, I remember playing that when I was like 11
What did you think
on
of it?
I need
Xbox.
to pick that up.
I liked it, but I've heard a lot of people didn't. Like, looking back at it, a lot of people don't like it.
It just seems kind of generic.
It probably was, but when you're 11, you don't really care. Like, it was amazing at the time. I was like, oh my god.
People got really
whoa.
swept in by its initial advert.
Oh yeah, that was like a big
It was a cool advert, but it
thing.
wasn't representative of gameplay in any way. Obviously, it was just like slow motion footage backwards or playing in reverse with like a pre-rendered
Are they
cutscene.
making like Dead Island 2? Yeah, I'll pick up Dead Island at some point. It's like £1.
Yeah, regular on Steam it goes on sale a lot for like.
What other
nothing.
entries to the series were there?
Riptide, I remember. My brother had that on 360. I think he still does.
Is that a spin-off or
No, I think it's like a full-on sequel. I'm not sure.
yeah, but they did a 2
Um,
as well, didn't they? Or I think they were.
Kind of. Yeah,
They're releasing a 2 at some point. They're developing it right now.
they did, and then nothing was said, and then they started saying some more things, and then it's been like a year, I think, and they still haven't said anything else.
Because I remember an advert where it was like a jogger or something.
Yeah, that's burned into my memory. I remember seeing that when it came out. I was like, oh, wow, that looks so cool.
But again, that's not
Yeah,
really
that's-
representative of any game.
Nah, it's just marketing. You look at that, you're like, oh, wow, epic. I'll share that on Facebook. And then bang, somebody buys the game.
I see Red Dead Redemption.
That's not a horror game, is it?
Red Dead Redemption.
Undead Nightmares.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah, the zombie mode or
I
whatever.
can't see that, but I know I have it because I really did enjoy playing that. That was a fun expansion. It was like a fun way to twist your
Red Dead 1.
content.
Oh, is that Undead Nightmare or whatever?
Yeah, that's what you just said.
Oh,
It's
good
fine.
here, sorry. I'll have to pick up both those again at some point on PS3.
I remember, I'm remembering something. Like, I think my brother told me this years ago, but from memory, in that game, if you were killed by a zombie, you'd come back as a zombie. If your character was killed, you were a zombie and that was it.
Oh.
I might be misremembering that, but I remember being told that. I was like, oh wow, that's so cool.
Undead Nightmare added a fun zombie survival minigame mode thing. I enjoyed that more than the normal multiplayer game. Mortal Kombat doesn't really count, does it? It's like it's bloody and gory, and it's got like I guess it's got like horror elements in like the backgrounds and certain character designs. In terms of horror of scaring people, it has the Crypt, which scared some people. Did you guys know about that?
No.
The reboot, where it was just Mortal Kombat, which came out 2009, I think. In the Crypt, where you could buy your bonuses, if you hung around for too long, then a jump scare popped up. It's just like
brilliant.
It's just like a JPEG of a like goblin thing. It's not it's not a particularly like good image. It's just the fact that it's like a loud sound accompanying it, and it's suddenly appearing. It's kind of mean.
There are a couple of those in the Call of Duty zombies. Like if you like in one of the maps, if you aimed at the moon with a sniper, you'd get jump scared.
Oh really?
So yeah, it was like it might not have been the moon, it might have been fireworks or something. But it was the old trick on Xbox. You say, "Oh yeah, scoping at the fireworks,
That's so
scoping
mean.
at whatever." And there's another one on another map, but I don't think I ever experienced that. But yeah, I remember getting hit by the one where you scoping at the moon and being terrified, because I would have been like 11 at the time, and I was a little baby when I was 11. Couldn't handle horror.
I see Darkness, but that's not really horror. It's just darkness.
No, it's just a shooter. If I'm thinking of the right game.
Bayonetta. It's not really.
Nah.
I won't say.
You play as a
horror.
witch, so it's kind of Halloween-y, I guess. If you
That's-
want to stretch,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a bit
You
strenuous.
kill angels.
it's cool. I need to play more of it.
It is cool.
It's one of my favorite games.
I remember the
I
opening.
prefer 2, but
The opening got my attention. Varro like killed off Eggman, or not killed off Eggman, but do you guys remember the opening? Like standing at a grave of someone who was nicknamed Eggman as a weird reference.
yeah,
Eggman.
that's actually a really good intro level.
And I heard 2 was even better than 1, so
Yeah, I prefer 2 over 1. I don't know how common of an opinion that is.
Did 2 come with 1?
I think if you bought like a special version of it, yeah. Like there's the normal version, the limited or whatever.
I'd love, if I had a Wii U, I'd definitely get 2 right away, right now. But the Switch version's like 20 odd quid. And it doesn't come with a DLC code for 1. Like pre-owned.
Yeah. Well, you already have 1, so it doesn't really matter.
It don't bother me too much.
Rise of Nightmares. I tried playing that, but it got kind of annoying to play. It's a Kinect game by Sega.
I was gonna say, is that the Kinect game? I remember seeing that game in Game Station all the time.
It's sort of annoying to control.
I think the cover is like...
The cover's like
The
someone
cover's
with
like
their...
an eye.
I'm gonna grab it now.
I might be thinking of like Condemned or something like that, but I remember it being an eye
No.
trying to look through a little hole or something.
Yeah,
I
that's
might be
that's
misremembering.
Condemned you're thinking of.
Ah, okay.
The cover of Rise of Nightmares is someone with their face being covered up, and they're like looking panicked, and the hands covering their face have like nails sticking in them.
Yeah, okay, I remember this now.
It's really kind of cheesy looking, and the back of it is all these weird looking zombie characters, just like they have cranberry on their face or something. Survive one hellish night as you fight against terrifying enemies using the hands-free controls of Microsoft Kinect.
Oh, yes. Excellent experience. Do you have to play with Kinect?
Yeah, it's a
Is it
purple,
like Kinect? Oh, boy.
purple case game indicating you need it.
Purple case.
Requires Kinect sensors.
It makes it
Play
even
it-
scarier. You're actually flailing
Play
your
in the
arms around.
dark if you dare. Well, but it probably wouldn't work in the dark if it's Kinect.
Kinect. I was gonna say, yeah, the Kinect won't see you.
Sega. I'll put that in the back of the
Yeah,
box.
the amount of calls they must have got saying like, "Oh, the game won't work. It won't work."
I already finished Golden Axe. took me all
Oh.
of.
Well, it was
5
like
minutes.
just proof of concept, I imagine then.
It was just one whole level. It's not my thing. I prefer the Streets of Rage 2
Have you
skin.
seen?
Devil May Cry isn't really horror, is it? It's
No.
just, it's got devils in it or whatever, but it's not even.
You play as the
DMC
devil.
Devil May Cry is a
You are
horror
the
game,
devil's son.
but it's horrifying.
You're the first person to make that comment.
Wow, it's so unoriginal. Sorry, what were you going to say before I interrupted you? Nothing.
Have you guys heard of there's like Yakuza spin-off? That's like a zombie game.
Oh,
It's called
Yakuza
Dead
Dead
Souls or something. Yeah. Have you played that?
I've not played it. I have it.
I've seen one cutscene from it, which is where Majima gets introduced to the idea of zombies.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's a
It's like-
cool cutscene.
Yeah, he's just sitting on the sofa watching a zombie film.
He doesn't
I
have depth perception.
Yeah,
because
I was
he's
gonna
got
say
one
the whole
eye.
depth thing. Yeah, that was really cool.
It's like a Futurama joke. What was I going to say about? I imagine I can
I
just
might-
play that as the next
might
one. I
get-
don't think it slots into the actual canon at any. Well, it's got to take place at some point in time, but I don't.
I
think
doubt
it
it's
matters.
important though.
Yeah,
Mm.
and I think they reference Dead Souls in the actual games.
Oh,
Like, what was it? Kiwami, I think. Wait, which is the one where Majima appears everywhere?
I think that's Kiwami.
Yeah, Kiwami. Majima appears as a zombie sometimes, and it's just makeup. But I'm
Oh.
pretty sure that's just to reference Dead Souls in some way.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me. I need to buy the Devil May Cry reboot at some
It's
point.
fine. I don't know how I feel about
It's really
helping you
helpful.
buy that.
I heard it's got quite high reviews, so
Like,
and I'm known for liking games that other people don't like.
That's
So
fair. I guess the thing about Yakuza Dead Souls is that they can really change the combat up, because they can kill the characters and not have it be like a conflict of interest or like moral or whatever.
yeah.
Because typically you're sort of not a pacifist, because you do engage in a lot of violence, but you don't really kill people.
Yeah,
Well, they say
Kiryu's
you
whole
don't kill
thing is like, oh, I never kill anyone, even though
Yeah.
you can equip guns and shoot people and watch them bleed. He's like, no, I don't kill them though.
And you like shoot down helicopters, but I guess
Oh
That
yeah,
doesn't
on the
count.
motorway in Zero. It just becomes like an on-rail shooter kind of thing.
I guess he doesn't count that because it's in defense, or maybe they somehow survive. I don't know. But with zombies, it's even less of an issue.
Yeah.
Dead Rising. I don't know how we haven't mentioned that at all.
Yeah. Dead Rising.
Dead Rising's a mainly Xbox thing.
Well, it isn't. It isn't. It jumps forward and back so many times.
The first game was exclusive, I think.
all games are on Xbox console, so
I think 2's on PS3 because I remember playing it as a kid.
The first Dead Rising, I think, got ported to PS4, didn't it?
Yeah, they got remastered.
No, it also got ported to Wii.
Oh yeah.
The Wii version.
Well, it
chop,
didn't
tree,
really.
drop.
Let's be honest.
That's a phone
that
version as
right?
well.
It didn't even have a camera, did it? The Wii version.
I don't think so. I think it was like more like Dead Rising 2, where you just run around killing zombies, because that's so epic.
The camera was a cool addition to the first game.
I never played the first game, but I really vividly remember the little legal warning on the front cover saying, "This is in no way affiliated with Jorge Romero's Dawn of the Dead." I looked
Please,
at the cover so much in the shop.
please don't confuse us.
I don't know why they put that on there. I guess it's the fact
He
that it's
was-
a zombie game in a mall.
I think he was, George Romero was quite hot under the collar about that.
Really?
I think it's a pretty general concept to have a shopping mall, like a large area with zombies in it.
Yeah.
Also, it's a video game and not a film, so it's going to provide entertainment in a different way.
Yeah.
Well, the sequel was alright, from what I remember.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people would just say that the first one was all you needed. The
Yeah.
third, I didn't experience. Was the third the Christmas one, or was that the fourth?
The third. Oh, I played like 45 minutes of it on Steam and refunded it. I don't remember much about it. It's open world, like you're outside.
I think the fourth one killed the studio that makes it, so then there's not really much chance of a proper follow-up.
No.
Unlikely, anyway.
I'll just remake them for eternity. Or remaster or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember that when I was a kid and I bought 2 on the PS3, it came with a pen that would look like the Zombrex injection. Like
Oh, I have that as well.
syringe.
I got the limited edition from Game.
It was really cool. I think it came in like a steelbook too, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it's a steelbook, and then it like comes with a plastic sheath, and there's a little area for the fake medicine thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting sort of limited edition you don't always see.
Yeah, what's it called? They reformed to Capcom Vancouver eventually. And then Capcom just shut down them after the fourth
So
Dead
now
Rising.
Capcom doesn't really have a Western game making division, I guess. Or I don't.
Is it not?
Or at the very least, it doesn't have the one that made Dead Rising.
See, I preferred it when Capcom's production teams were all just called Capcom Production Number 4 or whatever. Very innovative names.
Well, Dead Rising 4 was like especially bad or panned.
Yeah, I've heard it's like people are upset with how the characters had changed.
Well, he's like talking about selfies and that.
Yeah,
It's just all kind of sort of cringy stuff going on there.
they were trying to get like the internet humor and like all
I want to find
selfies XD.
I'm gonna video games XD.
I think Crowdcat might have done a video on Dead Rising 4.
Yeah,
Might be wrong.
Crowdcat did some pretty good videos on the series.
Yeah,
Dead Rising Watchtower. I've not even heard
that's
of
a film, I think, isn't it? They've done 2 films, I think.
that. There were Dead Rising films, or was that unrelated?
Yeah, Dead Rising films related to they're set in the universe. But I've heard they're not very good though, surprisingly.
Oh, I can't find the image of like the selfie and that.
Is Last of Us technically a horror game?
Yeah, I guess. It's like you got limited ammo, limited supplies, big
It's not really a
creatures.
fun kind of horror though, is it? It's fairly grounded
Yeah.
and like depressing.
Yeah. And the second game is less about the zombies, but I guess that makes sense because it's been around for longer.
There was Zombies, or Zombies Ate My Neighbors as it was known in America. I loved that
Oh.
game on Super Nintendo as a kid. I don't know if you guys have any knowledge of it at all.
Again, I know of it, but I don't know it.
It was a fun game for 2 players. You're top down and you're shooting water pistols and that. It's so 90s.
Shooting
Like one of
water
the main
pistols at
characters.
zombies.
Yeah, but they still explode in the same way.
Oh, right.
And one of the main characters is wearing the 3D glasses, like the blue and red.
Hmm. Even though he's not looking at any 3D content.
No. That's just the 90s. That did have a follow-up called Ghoul Patrol, but it doesn't look as good.
Ghoul Patrol.
They could definitely do a reimagining or a re-release or whatever. They re-released Zombies Ate My Neighbors on the Wii Virtual Console.
Ah.
They could easily do like a 4-player version with online support, and I'd snap that up. That scared me as a kid, but then I was playing it when I was like very, very young because I got Super Nintendo as a hand-me-down.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that it had zombies like staggering around freaked me out.
Yeah.
It's just a fun game by LucasArts.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh.
who also made the Sam Max games, which are like, well, they made quite a few games that a lot of people like, but Sam and Max is the other standout to me.
Hmm. Do you remember Zombie U on the Wii U?
I completely forgot about it. But yeah, I do. I did get it, and I do remember it now. You say about it.
I played it
That
for
was
about half
one of,
an
like-
hour and then I stopped. 'Cause I was like,
It wasn't too interesting, honestly, to me.
nah.
That was supposed to be like a big launch title, or the way it was pushed.
Yeah. I remember being really scared at the cover when I saw it in game. I don't know how old I would have been when it came out.
I never got in. I never had a Wii
Do you
U,
mean-
so I could never play it.
Do you mean like the Buckingham Palace guard with like the broken teeth?
Yes, I mean, that's exactly what I mean, yeah. There was a big like cardboard cutout from Memory and Game Station. or in game or whatever, and it really scared me.
Oh,
I was like, oh my god. Let me Google it. Zombie. I wrote Supreme.
I would have been like 16 when that came out, though.
2012, so I would have been 10. Damn, I was a little baby getting scared at that at the age of 10. I've just looked at the image. It's so not scary.
It's fine.
It's just, oh my god, how are children such like scaredy cats? Oh, the PAL cover's scarier than the American one. It's like a reflection of someone's eye. In America, they just had the zombie.
Maybe enough Americans got scared they changed it.
It must have been that, yeah. They
it's probably the fact that they're probably banking on Americans not knowing what a Buckingham Guard looks like. It's probably that kind of like, oh, they're not going to know, or that kind of region change.
Yeah. Yeah, they ported it to PS4, I think, a couple of years ago. And just called it Zombie.
Here's a random Halloween game. Did you ever hear of Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow? That's one of the weirdest licensed games. It's a Super Nintendo game. I think it was released on PC as well, and I think maybe Mega Drive. It's a Donald Duck game, but the title doesn't have Donald Duck anywhere in it. And he's not in like a recognizable outfit on the cover or anything. He's
not in his Nazi uniform or anything?
And it's like it's set in a weird like voodoo house, at least for the beginning bit. And it's got really cool, funky music that I might actually use for this.
Yeah, do it.
The gameplay was okay from what I remember, but it's another one of those like Disney things where it's got really nice animation and sound effects for the time it was on.
Yeah, a lot of their games from around then look really good in terms of animation.
Yeah, like Aladdin on Super Nintendo was really cool as well.
Yeah.
I can't remember if you every time you lost a life or if you got a game over, like Donald would just get dragged into the underworld by like demon hands. Which was a very interesting like off-brand choice.
Yeah. Do you remember Lollipop Chainsaw? It's not even a horror game really, but it's got zombies in it. So thinking of Zombie, you reminded me of it.
Yeah, that was like especially campy. Wasn't that the renowned developer guy?
Yeah,
the
Suit
guy who made
51.
Killer 7?
My boy.
Wait, did he make Killer 7?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just like a hack and slash zombie thing. Again, looked at the cover a lot in Game Station, but never bought it. Because I was like, I don't want to buy that, I'm going to look like a little loser.
It's like a blending of loads of different decades as well.
Yeah.
Like it plays Oh Mickey on the titles, on between levels or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has a lot of music. Like a lot of licensed music.
Did you ever play Eternal Darkness?
Oh, I played a little bit of it. I like how it messes with the player a little bit, like fourth wall breaks.
Might have to buy it next year.
Oh yeah, like it lowers the volume and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, some of them haven't aged as well though, because obviously the volume bar on older TVs doesn't look the same as ones.
Yeah, it's not segments
TVs
anymore.
a decade later.
Yeah.
You don't have like the green, just standard volume.
Yeah.
And
it like pretend it's deleted your save data and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
You play as 12 different characters. Oh.
One of them did freak me out a bit, where it was like your character kept growing and then she'd like explode. And I thought I was doing something wrong in the game, but it was just a like hallucination. Like, oh, you got me.
Okay, like messing with your mess. Oh. We can talk about what audio and visuals and how important they are for a horror game.
Oh yeah, what do you guys think is more important out of the two? How something looks or how something sounds?
I like visuals because they can make some very like creepy like creatures, but audio kind of builds up an atmosphere like music. Like an entire game, like atmosphere can just be set on its soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack, the sound effects.
So I'd always say that the soundtrack is like audio-wise, it's much more important.
I feel like sound effects can be scary on their own, like a just suddenly placed scream. I don't know, that's a tricky one.
Even something like the creaking of floorboards or a door or something.
If you can like hear an enemy you can't see, that is scary. And certain
Yeah.
games.
Because you're like, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? You're looking around everywhere.
Certain enemies can make certain noises and you'll just associate it with them. Like in Resident Evil 4, the Chainsaw Man.
Yeah. Just hearing the...
When you hear a
revving
chainsaw, then you panic.
Yeah, you're like, where is it?
Especially on like initial playthroughs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure on a second playthrough it's nothing. You're just like, whatever, come at me.
That was a scary thing in the game, is when I think I was playing with the sound off or something and I didn't hear him. Obviously, so he just snuck up behind me and instantly chainsawed my head off, and that made me jump. Scary.
The regenerators were interesting. Like the way they looked was just...
They were very creepy.
Yeah, and the noise.
They like stare you down creepily.
Also, it took me ages to find out that if you use like the thermal scope or whatever on a sniper,
You can
it's
see
really
the
easy
weak
to kill
points.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, so I just shot at them over and over again.
Oh wow.
So I wasted a lot of ammo. Like it got to a point where I just had a knife pretty much because I used all my ammo killing those guys.
I'm trying to think of more examples of like audio, or like images on their own without audio. I guess without audio, there's you can get stuff like creepy paintings and stuff like that in games.
Yes, sometimes the lack of any sound can be better. If something happens without a sound effect, like a painting changes or whatever.
Sometimes the soundtrack can be overboard and just kill the atmosphere off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot more annoying.
Did you guys want to talk about like Halloween or creepy Easter eggs or whatever?
I don't know of too many of them, unfortunately.
I was gonna say I can't think of any really.
I know there's the Grand Theft Auto 5 one. I like that one.
Oh, yeah. You go into like a mountain or something, didn't you? Like a little hill.
Yeah, if you go to a certain hill at night and you stand a distance away from it and look through your scope, you can see a floating ghost.
Oh, I'm
Woman.
thinking of someone else.
Oh.
Yeah, I do remember that one though. Yeah.
The ghost is floating above a name spelled out in blood. I think it's like Trevor or something. Not Trevor. I don't know. It's floating up above a name in blood, and then that name corresponds to a politician in the game, like in the law or whatever. So the implication is that a guy who's running for mayor is killed his wife.
Oh right.
And if you get close to the ghost, then it becomes more and more transparent, and you can't just go up and touch it. So there's a neat old like combination of things going on there.
Yeah.
It's interesting world building.
The one I was thinking of was much worse than that. Like it's not really all that scary. You go there's like a hole in a mountain. You go into it, you walk around a bit, and then you get jump scared. That was it.
What do you get jump scared by?
It's just like a ghost or something. I don't remember.
Oh.
But yes, definitely not as good as the ghost on the hill thing. The scope, the one you mentioned.
It's still interesting though. Other creepy Easter eggs. There was one like Assassin's Creed game, I think it was, where you're walking through an area that's flooded with water, and during a certain section you can see like a giant tentacle, if you look closely, like move up in the water, but it's not really related to anything.
Oh right.
Have you guys seen that one?
I think I have, but like a while ago.
These creepy Easter eggs are especially good in games where they'd have no right being there by the tone of the game otherwise.
Yeah.
What was it? Mario 3D Land and certain other Mario games, there's like hidden ghosts.
Yeah, there's that one that's like at the end of the level in the background. It like fades in for a couple of frames or whatever, and then disappears. I don't remember what it is, but it's just in the background. You can hardly see it, but it's there.
I always find it interesting to hear people's like fears and phobias from games. Like people are scared of like the eel in Mario 64.
Oh
and
yeah.
that piano. There's a lot of stuff in Mario 64 it seems that like scared people, and stuff like the Donkey Kong game over screen, stuff like that. Granted, a lot of them are like when people were kids, but still.
Yeah.
I was kind of taken a little bit back in Banjo-Kazooie when you first see Clanker, because I wasn't expecting to see this giant metal shark after you swam through this like narrow tube, and when you don't know it's friendly. That was like a bit startling.
I can't think of any specific examples, but there's definitely been bits where I've been put off by a part of the game that shouldn't put you off.
A lot when I play the Doom series, like sometimes I'll turn a corner and an enemy just appears out of nowhere. I'd be like, oh.
When you don't realise an enemy's nearby, that can be pretty unsettling. Any good Halloween areas in certain games? Like there's Mad Monster Mansion from Banjo-Kazooie is a fairly obvious one. Then Conker's Bad Fur Day, you got the Spooky Chapter. Which I don't like the latter half of that so much. It feels like a bit of a pain when you have to do the key bit.
The courtyard.
Simpsons Hit and Run had a weird one.
I like the courtyard in Luigi's Mansion 1. I see.
That whole game's Halloween themed. Wait, what do you mean courtyard? The
backyard, of course.
Oh, where you
Back of
fight
the
the purple Bogmire.
I believe so. I think Luigi's Mansion is just bad because you're playing as a character that like freaks out the second he sees something.
Yeah, you should be scared.
I do like cowardly characters. I was about to say couragely.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of courage.
I always used to call that show Coward the Cowardly Dog. Just because I'd mix it up.
Stupid dog. That's one for Halloween game.
Yeah, Sam, you're
dog.
a stupid dog.
You made the cast bad. Unused title.
We almost used that as a title, which I might think is a bit better than what we're currently going with.
Stupid dog, you made the cast bad is not a good title.
It'd be good for it.
XD.
It'd be good for like a general topic thing, if there was no specific theme to it. Because then it doesn't need a theme. Or if you were doing specifically on like older cartoons or something.
Maybe. I probably have just called it Figgy Cast. Well, that's a little egotistical.
Videogames XD is
very specific.
The best choice. Very, very unique name.
We've never made. We just don't do creative names.
Yeah, there was Game Chat, epic name. I wasn't there for the naming of that, so I can't even take any blame.
It was Figgy's idea. I said I don't know what to name it. I said Game Chat. I was like, right, well.
So in conclusion, happy Halloween.
I plan to beat Resident Evil 0 this month.
Yeah, I want to finish Resident Evil.
What, the entire series?
I want to finish Resident Evil. Yeah, I want to finish Resident Evil 0 at least this year.
And 1?
And yeah, I want to do 1 as well. Do you have any plans, Sam?
No, I think I've played every game I was intending to. I was like, I'll do it before we do the episode. So I'm prepared.
What we should have done.
So yeah, I've got nothing. I've got Deadly Premonition at Christmas.
Yeah.
So in 2 months I can play Deadly Premonition and LOL. Maybe even keck a little.
Let us know what games you've been playing.
Yes.
And from all of us, happy Halloween.
Yeah.
You guys could have said happy Halloween, so it was more from all of us.
No, well, yeah, you say from all of us, so the other people don't have to say anything.